This has been sitting on my property since I bought the property. I'm going to drag it down the hill, down there by the fire, and tear the aluminum off of it. There's got to be 50, 60, 70, 80, I don't know, $100 worth of aluminum. But more than anything, it's an eyesore. So I'm going to drag it down off that hill and hopefully not hurt my truck in the process, and see if we can't get this thing out of here. Snow did a number on it, so it's basically garbage. So I'm going to pull the windows out of it because I don't want to get any glass around here on my property. There is most definitely something living in this. I would hear it from time to time. So here we go. My first encounter with some wasps. Let's take care of them. That's all I got to take care of them with. The real question here is this a complete waste of time? There's part of me that thinks it might be, but there's probably at least $100 worth of aluminum here. But I want the trailer. If I didn't want the trailer to make either a way to haul diesel and or water, I probably would just haul this straight over to the scrapyard like it is. But I'm being a little bit tedious with this, taking all the screws out because I don't want the screws to end up in the ground. But this thing's a disaster, so we'll see how far I go here before I lose my my ADD kicks in and I lose interest. That's one way to get it done. You should have seen the mice go ripping out of that thing. Well, after about a good 5 hours of demo, this is what I ended up with. If I had drug this thing down there like it was, I would have gotten probably 20-25 bucks in scrap for it. While it was absolutely disgusting to tear it apart, I'm certain I'll get a lot more than 25 bucks. Lots of aluminum. This whole trailer's aluminum. The back of my truck, I've got a bunch of steel. A little bit of copper tubing, as well as a bunch of wiring. I shoved all the wire in here. Surprisingly, a large amount of wire for a cabover camper. But the question is it worth the time? I probably caught hantavirus in there somewhere, all the dead mice and mice crap that was all over in it. On top of that, I've got a fire here that's so contaminated with crap that I'm gonna have to dig a hole and push it into when it's done burning. But it was fun. It was fun to tear it apart. I thought the trailer was more heavy duty than it actually is. The trailer's probably going to end up staying at the scrapyard too. So the moral of the story is, it would have been significantly easier for me to drag the whole thing down there and leave it. And if I didn't have the time that I do, I would have probably just done that just for the sake of time. But I'm going to run her down there to the scrapyard and see what we get for it. So after all that work of scrapping that cabover camper, the trailer was so lightweight, I took it to the scrapyard and just got rid of everything. So by separating the aluminum and taking the windows out, getting the aluminum off of that, and separating the copper and the steel, I got a grand total of $24. Now, on one hand, it's off my property and that's good enough for me. On the other hand, if I had taken the entire cabover camper on the trailer to the scrapyard, they wouldn't have taken it. I was talking to the owner who's become a friend of mine, and he says he won't take them because they're 99% wood. So scrapping it was a royal pain. All of the insulation, that yellow insulation, is absolutely horrendous. That stuff should be outlawed. It reminds me of my plumbing days. But here's the good news. As I was pulling out of the scrapyard, I found these two rolls of barbed wire. And they're brand new, although they've been sitting in somebody's storage shed or something for a while because there's some weeds and stuff in them. These are typically about $60 to $65 a piece. He allowed me to buy them for 20 cents a pound, which is basically scrap for good quality iron. The end result was I gave him the $24 check back and I carried this out for free. So this is a win big time. I have managed to scrape up 6 rolls of barbed wire in the last month and a half for 120 bucks. They're all fairly new. They've just never been used. They've been sitting in different places. If I had to buy them outright, you're talking about $360 plus or minus a little bit. So the moral of the story is pretty simple. It was not cost effective on one hand to tear that cabover camper apart. But on the other hand, I think it came out as a win. So I'm happy with the result. Thanks, guys.